Wonderful time at Title Tuesday, and we have wonderful time here. Min Lei against Hans Niemann. If I look at the list of players at the top, there are so many big names here. Hans is always going to be. I think Duda's in really, really good form, and I think that I'm going to choose him. But any of these players, even players at 3 out of 4, could easily win this tournament.
Niemann against Min Lei, that's, this is about the time when it starts getting a lot tougher. You're not going to have easy opponents anymore when you go into round 5.
Definitely not. And Min Lei, you see the rating there, 3179. That might even be underrated for him at this stage. He's a bullet beast. He's great at blitz, and he's also a bit of a systems player. What do I mean by that? It has been used in a derogatory sense in the past. I don't really know why. That it's like, oh, someone can only play the certain openings that they know. And that's not a fair criticism because Min Lei plays his openings at an extraordinary level. And when there's no increment, look at the time. So when you play systems you know, you often gain a sizable lead on the clock. White is as solid as it gets. You look at a position like this, first thing you want to look at, besides the material count, is pawn structure. White's pawns, the base of the pawn chains, the little pawn chains, are safe and sound. Black now just made a risky move because that's the base of this little pawn chain here, and that can become a target. If White is able to reroute this bishop into the center, that pawn's directly under attack. This bishop here is always annoying in these London-type setups because that diagonal is under White's control. So Hans Niemann right now, down a minute on the clock. Black's play is more difficult than his opponent's because White has good control of the center. There are individual moves that look fun and entertaining, knight up into the center, but then a white rook slides over, applying immediate pressure. So I would have to say I really like this position from the white side. Easier moves to make. I think right now this move here from Min, bringing his bishop forward, threatening to get this queen and this pawn, that looks really good to me. He can also decide what he wants to do with his rook in the corner. It doesn't have to stay there for the whole game. So many different options here for Min. I think that he really needs to keep the pace. That would be the biggest thing for his winning chances. And he's going for the trade of dark square bishops as predicted. Hans is speeding up, so finding his comfort zone to some extent here. And for Min, he can double his rooks on this d-file if he wants. This rook can come up, a second rook can join the party. That is a bit dangerous by advancing your rooks so far just because they're easier to target. But I think right now, you couldn't really ask for more from Min Lei, but I do think him slowing down, that is now playing to Hans' benefit. He's almost like smiling over there.
I find myself always gravitating towards the Bortnik table somehow because so far, this is his 5th game today. He's been behind in every position from the get-go. At least according to the evaluation bar. And we saw him in the first game where he seemed to be much more concerned about drinking his Starbucks coffee than he was about playing chess for some time. He is such a relaxed character. It's almost scary.
Yeah, Bortnik, he's here for a good time and often for a winning time. So we always can tune into his game and know that we'll have a fun time spectating. But it looks like, so we see a note up at the top there. Both players blundering in this 3.5 out of 4 matchup. Oh my goodness. Should I pull that game up? Because that doesn't happen very often at this high level where players are just down a queen? For what? For a rook. Wow, that's a complete surprise. So Semyon Pozharevsky blundered, and Jose Ibarra blundered back.
And blundered even worse.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is that game is one where it looks like Jose Ibarra down a queen for just a rook. Still some compensation. In the sense that Black's king could be open at some point, but no, that's just blunder central in that game. Unlike the one that we have on our screen where Min Lei continues to play good move after good move. And one thing I'm considering, not my pieces, so I like to sacrifice them, is it worth giving up a rook for a knight and a pawn in the center? It does clear the space. You see that Black's knight and pawn here are doing some good work, just clogging in the middle of the board. So I would be tempted to take this knight. I think that Min, he can play a move like knight in to c6, just attacking this rook back here. Those moves look good, but you want to at least consider this exchange sacrifice because it's not that much in the point value, right? A rook is worth 5, a knight and a pawn is worth 4, let's call it. So there's not much in it there, but white does gain complete control of the space, and here we have it. That exchange sacrifice has indeed occurred for Min Lei giving up some material. And for Hans, I mean, he's going to try to bring his rook forward, but then white can push even more pawns. I'm starting to really, really appreciate this from Min Lei's perspective. And there goes the pawn. Hans's rook is active, but it's also a bit over on the side. A move like rook here is tempting, but you have to be very careful. And Min says, don't even think about it. I mean, this is just amazing coordination from Min. All these pieces that I've highlighted in blue, every single move has a purpose. It's really, really lovely stuff from Min. And Hans is doing the best he can, giving him credit. He needs desperately to open some lines for his pieces. He brought his rook behind a pawn, and oh, chef's kiss. That move by Min Lei, understanding that Hans' idea to gain some much-needed activity, that would perhaps give Black a chance to even play for more than just an attempt at equality. So what does Min do? He clogs the lane. Hans says, no, I can't go for that. Brings his queen back. There will be an opportunity later to push over here, but Min is taking his time and going back and forth. This queen exchange offer, I simply love it. Oh, just really beautiful. Just if this, you would think that with Black having a rook and white having a knight and pawn, that's more material for Hans. But the problem is rooks need open files, and the Black rooks do not have them. So this idea from Min Lei is really high-class stuff. But he's so okay trading queens that he even goes in here, forcing the queens off the board, because this queen is so active that I think if you just move your queen back here to a passive square, then white can try to kick this rook out, and actually that might just trap the rook. So this is a fantastic series of moves from Min Lei, who's not much better.
Have you seen a more content face than what we see from Min Lei right now? That's the kind of face I put on if I do something really well.
Yeah, I mean, he's just marching forward right now to the beat of his own drum, really. And it's honestly the type of position that looks straightforward. We can see that white is better, not completely winning. But if I had this position from the Black side, I might assume that I'm completely lost. And for Hans, I think he's going at some point soon to try this move to get his rook out. He instead brings his rook this way, going for some pawns. But I'm wondering how he intends to stop this pawn from marching forward if Min decides to press it, because this knight covers the queening square, and that should suffice for enough for victory. And you see Hans, he registered with him right there. He's like, oof, that's not good. No, this is knight's going to go on a merry-go-round, right? It's like a little carousel tour, and it's just going to start attacking things, and eventually this pawn is going to go through. And Min, he plays his pawn here. The idea is to get the knight out. He's actually sacrificing his knight. It's a move that I did not first calculate, because it's hard to just give up your pieces like this, but he determined that the second pawn joining the party would have been good enough. And Hans now getting some much needed activity. His rook is going to try to come down here with check, scoop up this pawn. And that pawn that I said that Hans needed to trade, that's going to be dangerous as dangerous gets, because if that B pawn is won with that check over there, then suddenly it's Hans with the pass pawn as well. So up goes white's pawn. Here comes Hans wrapping around, going for this pawn here. White will try to get this queen here, but that's why Hans stopped. He went rook in the C line behind this pawn. He wants to trade over here. So really, like, this is a really combative game right now, and Min is known to twirl his hair. I'm never quite sure if it's just like, something he does, or if it's when he's nervous. But right now I feel like this is a nerve-wracking position, because it went from much better, if not winning, to one where he's seeing that Hans has played great defense to try and take down this pawn.
I've always thought that Min has probably the strongest hair growth that you can find in any man, because he doesn't seem to be affected by it in a way.
Yeah, Min is like, he's timeless, right? He's got the username Wonderful Time. I don't think he's having a particularly good time right now, because he might get flagged. So Min is an elite bullet player. Hans is also really, really good at bullet. And when you have this kind of situation where you were better all game, now you just have to prove the draw, but you're down less than half the time of your opponent. And what Hans is doing well is he's not going to repeat the position. So if you repeat the position 3 times, it's a draw. So even though king and rook versus king and rook, or king and rook and pawn versus king, rook and pawn like we have now, is a draw objectively, Hans is just going to keep this going. He's going to bring his king back, and he's just going to shuffle around and try not to repeat moves if he can avoid it. And he's doing a really good job of that. At some point, after repeating twice, he'll push a pawn. But Min is super fast. So we'll see if Min has it. Oh, but rook against rook is coming. And we'll see Min has to show the speed right now. He's under 12 seconds, or he's just about there, and he's just moving around. 50 move rule, everybody. 50 moves without a capture or a pawn push is a draw. Will Min be able to get those 50 moves down under 10 seconds? Goes Min late, he's shuffling back and forth. Watch out, a rook check would have been deadly, but White is giving the checks, shielding his king, trying to trade rooks desperately. Han's avoiding it. Now Han's down to 13 seconds himself. It seems like Min is the faster player. That time advantage is shrinking. Turn up turn, that is a draw. Rooks are off, game over, split point.
That was actually Niemann pulling the emergency brake. He was getting scared here. I have a proposition for you. I'm going to do it quickly now because we're going into the scores. But should we, for this format where we're doing esports rather than chess for some reason,